So glad to have you here, Husker fans. This is episode 45 of Generation Red, the kettle corn of Husker fan podcast, where we try to be sweet, but at times we might get a little salty. I'm your host, Ken.
And I am your other host, Scott.
Last week, we were joined by our buddy Luke Merrill, and we previewed games 5 through 8, which were Indiana, Rutgers, Purdue, and Illinois. If you have not seen that episode yet, we would encourage you to go look at it on demand at GenRed Pod on YouTube. And if you prefer it audio only, you can subscribe to Generation Red on your favorite podcast app. Luke and I both have the Huskers with a 7-1 record through the first 8 games, with us agreeing on Purdue being the only blemish. Meanwhile, Scott has the Huskers record at 6-2, in which he also has us dropping a tough one to the Boilermakers, or as I like to call them, the Whiskey and Beers, and a close heartbreaker to OU at home. Tonight, we are going to preview the November gauntlet, namely Minnesota, at Michigan, Wisconsin, and at Iowa. At this point in the year, our predictions have the Huskers bowl eligible. All of us have them bowl eligible for the first time since 2016. But as games 9 and through 12 come into scrutiny tonight, the only question is, can they finally get over the hump against any one of those teams in the Final Four? Arguably the toughest 4 teams on the schedule outside of Oklahoma. Before we answer that question, or all 4 of those questions anyway, let's take a few minutes and meet our guest. He's right there, the top left of your screen, one of the best dudes I know. He's a really good friend and an even better person, because even though he resides outside of the good life, which we all know is Nebraska's borders, he is without a doubt a Husker fan. If not by birth, definitely by choice. And isn't that how it should be? Husker Nation has always had an open door policy. And Michael kicked that sumbitch open hard. And for the very first time last year, and one historically impossible 3-9 season later, he's still all in, if you will, and ready to root for the Big Red in 2022. Please join me in welcoming the winner of the 2021 Plus Minus game, Mr. Michael Dymond, to the Gen Red Pod studio. Brother, what's up?
Hello. Thank you for having me tonight.
Welcome.
I'm really glad you're here, dude.
Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.
And
Go Big Red.
Iowa's corn sucks.
He knows. He's already
I know
on.
it.
He's been there. He's
already
done
here.
that.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Absolutely. You know what, Mike? We're not going to throw a bunch of questions at you tonight. We're not going to do the whole.
You don't want to hear about how I like pina colada?
No, we don't want it. We don't want to know your upbringing. We don't want to know where you came from, even though we know you were deep behind enemy lines not too long ago in the Roll Tide country or the War country, depending on where folks land. But I can say this. There's a reason I said he's an even better person than a good friend, because I was in Alabama last year around April for a wedding for a mutual friend, and Michael was gracious enough to loan me his F-150 to drive for the entire weekend, because I was in a semi at that particular time, and he said, you need to be able to have some wheels. And dude, I will never forget how much that meant to me, that you made sure that I had something to drive and somewhere to go and things to do while I was there, besides just sit in a hotel room and get, well, crap-faced, for lack of a better word. So thank you for that, Mike. I just want to ask you one question. How in the hell did a kid from Alabama become a Husker fan?
Well, I want to make it abundantly clear. I was actually born in Kansas. Nothing to do with the state of Alabama, because those Roll Tides can roll on out the door, man.
Yes, sir.
So I actually became a Husker fan because of you and because of Scott, believe it or not. I knew you were really big into into the Cornhuskers, Nebraska football, live and die by it. And
Yeah.
you started coming out with the podcast, and I started listening to it, and I really loved it, and I loved all the hope that you have every year, every game. You're just hopeful that it's gonna turn out great, and then it just crashes into the ground. And I can relate to that because I'm a huge Washington, whatever they are, Redskins, Commanders fan, and so I find that appreciation for that constant underdog, and
Mm-hmm.
the way that you've always treated me, because Alabama fans are evil, spiteful, hateful. They find out you root for Auburn or somebody else, and they'll just delete you out of their phone. They'll never talk to you again.
Right.
But you found me lost in the woods, and you took me under your wing, and you sheltered me, and you showed me all the love, and I was like, that's what it's about. I was a truck driver for a while, and I always loved going through Nebraska because everybody treated you like family.
Yeah.
Everybody. So Nebraska's always held a special place in my heart. I also have an uncle that's from there, so that helps too. But
All right. Well, that's a good answer. Excellent answer. I wasn't born here either. I was.
you're from Arizona,
Yep,
right?
I'm from Arizona. Yeah, the wife moved down there in 1988. Found out that I was a Husker fan a couple of weeks after she showed up at the church that I was going to at the time, and that gave me a leg up, so to speak, over all the other competition in that singles class that we were in at that particular time. So yeah, but I became a fan in 1983 when the coach at the time, Dr. Tom Osborne, decided to go for 2 in a national championship game, when back then you didn't have overtime. You either ended in a tie or you won the game. And
Oh,
if
yeah.
you would have kicked the extra point on a last minute touchdown, he would have probably been voted national champion. But his philosophy was you either win it on the field or you don't win it at all. And that was the night I became a fan for life. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of with you.